Yes, definitely. Feminism is spaghettifying.
Yes.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Another one.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome to not so much coffee, but tea catch-up.
Yes, we are out of coffee. Or Polina is out of coffee. This is in Polina's flat, not mine.
Yes.
I also happen to be out of coffee in my flat though, so
It's a common problem that we're having.
just drink too much of it, I think is the problem, and then
Mm-hmm.
also too lazy. Or not too lazy. Not too lazy. But whenever I remember that I need to buy coffee, I'm at a point in my life where I am unable to go to the shops. Like, I will remember right before I go to sleep. Or I'll remember when I wake up but I'm in pajamas.
Oh.
Or when I'm at work. And I'm like, I cannot go and buy coffee right now. You're like, excuse me, I want to take a break so I can go get some coffee.
No, yeah, I work in a supermarket, but I always forget to buy all my shopping
Okay,
before I leave.
That's way worse. Okay, that's way
It's
worse.
so bad. But there's a cool thing that happened.
Ooh,
Rachel was super efficient and bought a thing, so now we have 2 mics.
A £4 thing.
Woo.
So, like,
It's okay.
yeah,
It's very much okay.
it costs £4. So if it works, then it only costs £4. And if it doesn't, it only costs £4.
Exactly. And it worked, so that's good.
Yeah.
But I also realized that we're going to have to change our setup a little bit, because this is like a little bit more on the awkward side to make eye contact with you.
I don't want to make eye contact with you. That's why I set it up like this.
I see. I see how it is. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine.
I'm okay. But yeah, so tea catch-up time. The tea over tea.
Hell yeah.
Neither of our names begin with T, so that's very
No.
unsatisfying.
My last name begins with T.
Yeah, okay, we'll take that.
Yeah.
The tea over tea with tea in brackets Polina.
The T in my name is silent.
It's at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, so how's that going?
Well, okay, so I've just been working the past week. Very sad, I know. So, last night, I was meant to work in a 7-hour shift, and maybe get a break if there was time. I instead worked a 9 hours and 15-minute shift, and got no break.
Oh my, that's illegal.
It's actually, okay, so, discovery.
Oh.
Our work has been like, okay, we're gonna push forward our, legal working practices, so we're gonna go over them with everyone and make sure that everyone's, like, complying. And when it came to breaks, legally, you're entitled to a break, but you don't have to take the break.
Okay.
So it means that if I was to turn around and go, I demand my break, they would have to give it to me, but they don't have to make sure I get one. It's on me. And, you know, I'm one of those people, like, if it is really busy, I know it would just be, like, a dick move to be like, excuse me, I'm gonna go take, like, a 15-minute break. And they'd be like, okay, we'll cope without you somehow. We'll, like, just grow another human being and we'll use that person. Because we're not understaffed, but we are. So, yeah, I think, there's some places of work that will deduct, so I think it's legal you get, for every 6 hours, you get 15 minutes, which means you could work an 11-hour shift and only get 15 minutes break, which is disgusting. But
That's so gross.
yeah, but, I mean, most places wouldn't do that to you, but, yeah, so my work, they give us 20 minutes, we can take up to a 20-minute break, or we could take 2 10-minute breaks if we really wanted, but they're like, if you can't get it, we'll pay you. But there'll be some places that, because they've said you're entitled to a 20-minute break, they will always take that off your wage for the day and just assume you've taken it.
No.
Which means that if I was working at a place like that, I would be getting I'd be like, I don't care how busy it is, I'm not getting paid for 20 minutes of this shift, so I am not working for 20 minutes of this shift. Like, I'm one of those people that the second I clock out, I don't care if someone was to come to me with their head on fire, I'm like, sauce pal, I'm not getting paid for this anymore. I work my ass off when I am getting paid. The second I'm not, I'm gone.
Yes.
Normally by the time I clock out, I stopped caring like 4 hours ago. But like...
But you're still doing what you're supposed to.
Yeah, like I'm still putting in the effort. It's just like behind the eyes, I'm dead.
Yeah. I understand that. I relate to that a lot.
So yeah, by the time I clock out, I'm like, okay, now I'm fully dead. Like,
Yeah.
in front of... Like, just the number of people. So yes, my work has a uniform, but the number of people who will, when I'm leaving and I have my jacket on and my bag with me, very obviously no longer will stop me and be like, oh, excuse me, can you help me? And I'm like, I mean, I guess, but like, why?
Yeah, no, I've had that. It's when, usually, because we have a uniform as well, and it's usually when I'm on my break trying to buy some food, and I'm at self-service just waiting to get, for the people to move along so I can, spend my break the way I want to by stuffing my face and not waiting in line.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, the thing will go off, and then someone will come up to me and be like, excuse me, and do the weird hand thing, where they, like, point to you and to themselves, like, 20 times, and they're like,
and the till, and like...
Yeah. And it's just, like, a weird fucking convoluted, like, hand signal, and I just, because usually I have my headphones in, I'm like, no, just point to my headphones, and I'm like, I'm on my break. Don't.
I feel like that's the rule, though, just in life. If someone's wearing headphones, you don't try and talk to them.
Yes. The amount, like, right. I'm not a people person. So, to go into work to have to deal with only people for so long, well, usually my shifts aren't that long, but, like, to me, that's a lifetime. I need my alone time. So I take that when I'm walking to work until the fucking second I clock in, okay? So from, like, I will not talk to you, don't talk to me. And it's a lot of my colleagues, bless their hearts, I love them to bits, but they're so guilty for that. I will have my music blaring, like, I'm sure they can hear it from the outside, because I always go full blast. And they're like, start speaking to me. And I'm just like a blank face. I'm like, I don't know what you're saying right now, but I have to go to the effort of taking off my headphones, wasting my time having this conversation when I could be having it when I clock in.
I could be getting paid to chat to you right
Exactly.
now.
Oh god.
Like, you're not worth my free time.
It's not supposed to sound as bad as it is.
It's exactly how it sounds like. Like, wait, hold on. You're so boring, I need to be paid to talk to you.
Oh my god. I'm a horrible human being.
At least I know that she's not getting paid to talk to me, so...
Yeah, I feel special.
Feel privileged.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I get that. But for my tea catch-up, I just want to share a thing with you. So I bought 2 poetry books the other day, and I'm really feeling them. I'm like, you know what? Yes, I'm in a poetry mood. I want to read it again, because that's what you have to do. And I bought this one, and it's by Amanda Lovelace, and it's called The Witch Doesn't Burn in This One. Right? It's really cool. Super feminist, like, super feminist, which is fine, but I sometimes need to take a break, because I'm like, okay, all this man-hating's making me tired. Not every man sucks, but okay. And, I just have this one that I really, really like. It's called Trouble, Trouble. Keep an eye out for all those quietly reckless, naughty-haired girls. You know you can't hold back a wildfire, don't you? And I just really like it. That's it.
Yeah? That's cool.
Poetry. Slam. Poetry. Yelling.
Words.
Great movie. But yeah, so that's my coffee catch-up. I'm feeling very empowered. I'm like a witch. That's what the whole book's about.
Do you know what? Like, as much as the sort of thing of, like, I can imagine that it is quite often, I mean, I'm sure men got burned too, but, like, you know, that whole idea of, like, I think I'm trying not to go down the rabbit hole of feminism, because that's not what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, it's not
and
at
it's
all.
Definitely not even like a rabbit hole, it's like one of those black holes, like the closer
yes.
you get to it, the more you're getting sucked in.
Spaghettified.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. Feminism is spaghettifying.
Yes.
I want that on a t-shirt.
Another one.
This is where we reveal that actually this podcast is not a creative outlet. This is just a way for us to market t-shirts. Paulina and I are opening a fashion shop where we just sell weirdly, like, catchphrase t-shirts.
I would so shop there.
So far we have like 4 items. It would be the bear shop. Minimalism. There we go.
Oh, damn.
Got it. Marketing done.
Brilliant. Anyway, yes.
But yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, I think I'm trying to wrap this up in a way that is not gonna lead into a conversation, and I don't know if that is possible. But like, that yes, more than I agree with that sort of outlook more than I disagree with it.
Yes.
That's all I will say. We will talk
And I
about
will
this
not
another
comment.
time.
Yeah. So, topic of today is?
Yeah, it's kind of leading on from last time.
Yes.
Paulina was going to do a drum roll there, and I totally just diverted it. Do you want your drum roll, Paulina?
I do.
Okay, the topic of today is theater that we like.
Hell yeah.
So we were going to talk about this last time, but we got sidetracked.
Yes, we did.
Oh, what? Shock? We got sidetracked? That never happened.
No, this podcast is so concise and on point.
On message.
Yeah.
On brand. I feel like, no, our brand is definitely tangents.
Oh yeah. Our brand is just a fucking hot mess. That's quite enjoyable to look at.
I was going to say, just take out the hot bit of it.
It's
Our brand's
just a mess. Yeah, I feel that.
Or like a lukewarm mess, maybe.
A lukewarm mess. Like, it's so bad it can't even be hot or cold, it's just lukewarm.
It's like a cup of tea you've forgotten about. It's not quite cold yet, but like it's also not warm enough to be enjoyable.
That's our brand. Yes.
So yeah, we're going to be talking about theatre we like today.
Yeah.
To lead on from the movies and the TV. It's almost like a part 2. It's
It
not
is-
quite a part 2.
No,
but it's
like-
almost. Almost.
It's a lukewarm part 2.
At least we're on brand.
Yeah.
Do you want to start, Paulina? Since I started tea catch-up.
I was about to take a drink that was dangerous.
I mean, I've almost choked you a couple of times with... And there I go again.
You can't say that. But yes, we have.
By making her laugh when she's taking a drink.
There we go, finished. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I'll happily start. Let's go back to the topic at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to talk about plays right now.
Okay.
A play that I really enjoyed that I seen, like, performed was the one and only The Play That Goes Wrong.
Oh, did you actually go and see that?
Oh, I went to go see all of that.
Oh, I'm so jealous. So, like, we got shown this. I'm
Mhm.
sure this is how Paulina also discovered its
Yes.
existence. In one of our classes last year,
Mhm.
we got shown, like, a 15-minute clip of it. I think it was the performance at the Royal Variety, which obviously is very reduced because it's
Yeah.
a full-length play. And it was just brilliant. I think I genuinely think it's inspired our class so much.
Oh,
Like,
it has.
well, when we did we were part of a drama society. I technically run it, but Paulina also kind of runs it now. She is one of the
Mhm.
leaders.
Look at
Hashtag
me.
official. But yeah, we did our play, and the number of times we were like, so this bit's gonna kind of be like the play that goes wrong.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, no, and it was, like the clip that we seen,
Mm-hmm.
it only gets better.
Oh,
It only gets better. And the set, oh, honey, it was so good because of how broken it was. But, like, purposely broken. Like, they did stage combat, inverted commas, where they wouldn't even touch each other and they would just fling themselves halfway across the stage in the most pathetic way. Oh, it was a masterpiece. For
Yeah.
something to go, like, there was a point, I'm not gonna say, like, what exactly happens, but, like, there's a guy there's a higher floor, there's an upper floor, and he's on that, And during a stage combat, a guy actually grabs the guy and he loses his balance and he goes right through the beam holding that up and the fucking thing just goes down. Like, not fully, but it's like at a huge slant. So all the set comes falling off, including the actor that's on top. He manages to like grab himself onto like the set wall and holds all of the props on there, like just lying there like a pancake, still acting, like still delivering his lines.
Oh my god.
It's so good.
It's an art. I think it's something that is genuinely just funny.
Yeah.
But I think also there's like that added layer when you're an actor or in the theatre of watching that and going, I've been in rehearsals like this. Or like, I've been on final show nights that were like this, but not on purpose. Like there's this,
Yes.
you know, just from even the 15 minutes I saw, there's this guy and he comes on and he clearly doesn't remember his lines, so he's like written bits of them down on his hand, but like he'll like read them and you'll see him be like, and he'll mispronounce all the words, like, it's such a facade.
It's so good. And he gets super startled when the audience laughed. They're like, shit, I said it wrong. There was Philanthropist was another one that he delivered like that, and he was great. But like the one that I relate to a lot is the actor that comes on stage and then whenever he sees the audience he looks at them and like smiles and waves.
Yeah.
Because that's what all I want to do when I'm on stage. It's like, hi mom. That was in the back of my brain, and then after seeing that, that's like at the front of my brain when I'm acting. So it's just bad.
My favourite bit is when, so there's a female character and she manages to get knocked out.
Oh.
So they have to get like, so she's just lying on stage, and they're just kind of like, and what do we do? And you can just see the moment where they all just go, okay, we'll just keep going. And so there's clearly a bit where she's meant to get really wound up. They're like, stop being so hysterical. And she just lies on the floor. And then they're like, no, don't go, please, wait. And then they try and like, the one of like the stage hands tries to get her like out and is like trying to lift her out the window and it's just not working and it's just beautiful.
It is so good. So yeah, that's a piece of theatre that I love for so many reasons.
It's just clearly so much work that has to go into that.
Oh yeah, and
so much.
I think that I realised when I was watching it, because that was at was it Her Majesty's that's in Aberdeen. Yeah. I went to that theatre to see it, and it was me, my flatmate, who's also a drama student, and my friend Emily, who is not a drama student. And it's a really funny play, right? It's fucking hilarious. So me and Sophie were like in fits of laughter because of how funny it was. And then like everyone would like maybe laugh and then like die down really like quickly, and I would just be sitting there caught up like snorting and at one point Emily turned around to us because she was in the row in front and she just went, "You guys are so embarrassing." And I was like, I'm just enjoying the play, thank you very much. I know the actors appreciate it as well.
Oh, definitely. I'd rather have someone who literally just laughed the whole way through something,
unless
it was not a comedy, in which case that would not be a fun experience.
Don't do that.
But, yeah, or it's like, okay, so it was like when me and my friends went to go see Rock of Ages. I was really good live, because I've seen the movie and I knew that was based on a piece of theatre, but like, yeah, it was really good fun. But people sang along.
No.
And I'm like, don't. Because I'm not here to see Carol from like...
from banking, like...
from Midlothian, like, sing some like rock music. I'm here to see the people who are like paid and professional to do it. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And you know, it's like you're singing along because you know the song and you enjoy it and you like the words. But their characters... like, for a musical to work, the characters have to be singing it with feeling.
Yes. So
you just, like, drunkenly singing it and them singing it as, like, a really emotive piece is two very different things. Carol.
Yes. Stop it, Carol.
And yeah, that was getting on me and my friends' nerves because we were... Not everybody did it, obviously, but we were a couple rows behind... Or no, in front of someone of a group of girls who were doing it. Like, I don't know, like a hen party or something. They weren't doing it ridiculously loudly, but every song they sang. Yeah. It was like, stop!
Okay. Can I go on a slight tangent? Please.
It is allowed.
Be super quick, right?
You have 3 seconds.
Theatre etiquette is super important.
That actually might have been 3 seconds.
Like, it's so important.
Yes. Like,
don't go see it if you don't know how to fucking act in the theater. One, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's not here.
Oh.
This is not a coffee catch up with your friends.
No,
like,
no, it's not.
pay the fuck attention. Do you know, it's the same when you go see a band or stand up or anything, and you get people who are like just having a natter in the background. It's like, do you understand how much sound carries in places like theatre? Because a theatre is built to make sound carry.
Exactly. It's so painful. And as an actor, oh honey, you're in our bad books from the get-go. We hear you fucking whispering from the back row. So like, and it's so off-putting.
Yeah.
Because like, you, especially if you're in the moment, and then you hear Carol in the background, and you're like, oh, I'm instantly taken out of that.
Yeah.
Great. Now I have to try to get back into character on stage without the fucking audience, like, noticing that, and remembering my lines and my blocking, and trying to, again, still fucking ignore you talk.
Because this is the thing as an actor is, it depends on your character, but some characters are hyper aware of everything.
Yes.
And some characters are not. And obviously in an ideal world, if your character is not aware of anything else or has got a very small awareness, as in like their awareness is just the person they're speaking to, like, so nobody else, like literally another 100 people could be on stage, but that character is not aware of them.
Yeah.
If they get taken out of that, that's really hard to get back in.
It is.
But also if your character is aware of everything, then things like that, like someone whispering, your character is going to try and listen into it.
Yeah.
But, like, you might then be like, oh, no, I might need to be paying attention because, like, a cue might be coming up. And it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, what my character wants to do and what my character needs to do are two very different things right now.
Yes.
And, yeah. So, things like that, things like mobile phones. Because...
Yeah.
Okay, yes, we have, when you are on stage, you have the lights on you, and you can't actually see much. Like, the audience, you are aware that they exist. Yeah. You can see maybe about 30 of them, and the rest, you're like, I think they're there.
Yeah, hopefully.
But that's because they're in darkness. If they were to get a light on them, like a phone light, suddenly, you're very aware of them. And, again, it's the same sort of thing of, like, if your character's meant to be aware of the audience, it's maybe not so bad, because...
Yeah.
But if your character's not meant to be aware that the audience are there, or that, like, they exist at all...
It gets super difficult.
Yeah. Especially, you know, like, let's say you're doing, like, I don't know, some Victorian drama, and then you see a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And it sounds really wanky to be like, oh, it just takes you out of it.
Yeah.
But, like, it does, because when you're on stage, the goal is to get to a point where... No, I think the goal isn't necessarily to become that character in that sense. I think it's where your brain and your character's brain meld into one weird brain. So like, you're never. I don't think it's possible to ever be fully them, because
I don't think it's possible on stage.
I don't think necessarily think it's possible full stop, because there's always going to be something that will remind you that this is not reality.
Yeah. In
the sense that...
Unless you, like, method act the shit out of yourself.
But then there's a camera.
That's true. And
you have to be semi-aware of the camera when you act.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I mean. Or, like, you have to be aware of the audience when you act. So that awareness, those actor skills...
Yeah.
You know, you have a line to say. You can't just say what you want. You have a line to say. Or you could, like, improv that line slightly, but you have an end point that you have to get to for the other person to bounce off of.
That's
true. You know, those things. That is my, like, theory behind it. Is that why you can never fully be your character, because you always have to have the script or the audience or whatever in your mind.
Yes.
But yeah, so getting that, like, point where your brains meld is, like, the goal. So if you're trying to become, like, an 1800s Victorian lady, what you kind of delete from your head is all your awareness of technology. Yeah. Because you don't need that. Like, you know, you don't need to understand what a Snapchat is when you are thinking about how you need to make the perfect cup of tea. Like, with China. Like, it's not that, obviously, that you don't actually delete it, but, like, you just push it to the back of your mind. It's not important. And if you're really, really into something and then something kind of contradicts that, like a mobile phone, and I know how it sounds, but it just really is so distracting. Mobile phones, people coming in late or leaving for the break early.
Yeah. Or
just leaving early to beat the rush, and it's like,
yeah. But
you're leaving in at the middle of the end, you know?
Yeah, like, there might be a thing that you miss, and then you're that fucker who talks, and it's like, what happened? Like, I don't understand why that's happening. Because, like, you might have missed, like, half a line that was crucial to the piece. Because fuck you, we are not going to tell you when, like, a big thing's going to happen, because there's no point in that.
Yeah. Hello, we are signposting a plot twist.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, and I just, it was, like, it happens quite a lot at our student productions, because people don't treat them the same. But it's like, hello, we're actually getting marked for this, so it would be nice if you were extra nice to us. But yeah, so like there was our first year productions. And I remember there's this woman who just in the middle of them walked, because you had to walk onto the stage to leave the room. Mm-hmm. So she just like walked across the stage to go to the bathroom, and it was like, hello? Hello, lady? Do you have a problem? Like, I understand your need to pee, but
do it more discreetly.
Yeah.
Or fuck it, piss yourself.
Like, you know, I work a fucking 8-hour shift and don't go to the bathroom. You know, if I can manage that, I'm sure you can manage going through an hour and a half of a performance without peeing. Yeah. In fact, it was less than that, because I'm pretty sure our lecturer was like, I want to make it less than an hour, like, it was like an hour and 15 minutes was the max she wanted it to be, so that we didn't have
to have a break.
Yeah.
Anyway, favorite plays.
Yeah. I mean, we still were talking about theatre, so I'm going to call it like a mini tangent. It's like a semi-tangent.
Tangent.
I know. You could have just let it slide, Polina.
No, I couldn't.
No, you couldn't.
That's another thing. Another mini tangent. When you mispronounce something on stage,
and you just have to roll with it,
my spine falls out of my asshole. Like, I know I'm so out of it, and I'm like...
Or you trip up on a word. Yeah. Because, again, sometimes it depends on your character. Sometimes it can totally fit in, and you're like, my character is nervous, so of course they would mispronounce words. Yeah. It's okay. But sometimes you're like, I'm like royalty. They don't do that. Or in this version, or you know, I'm a very high-powered character. Me making a mistake is very bad.
Yeah,
but
it's really funny.
And you're like, because it's like, how do I fix this in character? I'll just pretend it didn't happen.
Yes. Yes.
One of the best ones I've ever seen, and it was such quick thinking, was when one of our friends mispronounced the word yacht as yacht.
Act with that.
Because it was meant to be that, like, she was kind of taking the piss of Polina, who was a little bit better off.
Yeah.
So she was kind of, like, saying, like, it was something about, you know, you go away in your yacht or whatever. Yeah. But she was like, yacht or yacht or whatever. It doesn't matter what you call it. And it fit in. It was so beautiful.
Did. But I was so, like, because every fucker laughed.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there like... You just said yacht, like, and it was so difficult because I was supposed to be like super sour, and I was like, my god, it was so difficult.
I genuinely think that's actually one of the hardest things when you're on stage, at least for me, is not laughing.
Yeah.
Because there's very few points where even if your character is the type of person to find something funny, where laughing is not going to look like you're breaking character.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time what's really funny isn't another character purposely being funny, it's quite often anger that's funny, or
like it in the context of the play, but like to the characters in that situation, that wouldn't be funny. Yeah. So you're like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah. What was great, so again, the Drama Society performance, and I couldn't laugh, but like I could smile. So that was always really good. Whenever something was funny, when I was in character, I could smile and be like, oh yeah. Because I think what was great for me was that my character was aware of the audience. Yes. So they enjoyed it when the audience were laughing because they were trying to prove that everything was a bit of a farce. So it was like, haha, everyone's seeing you for what you truly are.
It's like, and it's like, oh, it's really fun, but also like super off-putting when the audience laugh when you didn't think they would laugh. Like, when, same production, when I had that kiss with the person, and they just went, ooh! And I was like, wait. I was just sitting there, like, his mouth on mine, trying not to laugh, like...
Because I meant to be in love with you right now.
Yeah, this was, like, the moment of my life, and I was also trying to make sure my horns didn't fucking fall off.
Oh, because in the dress rehearsal, they fell off, and they broke, so there was so much sellotape and like double-sided tape and hot glue going on.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of panic.
Yeah, and like Kirby grips. I think
so many Kirby grips. Like,
it was like these things are not moving from her hair.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. What's other theatre that you like, Rachel?
Okay, I'll talk about something I went to see recently.
Yeah.
Which, again, is a musical. It was went to see Sunshine on Leith. I actually took Polina's ticket.
You did?
Because Polina was not in the country. She was on holiday, so...
Yeah.
You know what? Boo-hoo you, Polina. But, yeah, so I went to go see that. It was really, really good. And what I get, like, you talked about the set of the play that goes wrong. Sunshine on Leith set was amazing. It was all rotating.
Oh, that got me all excited.
And they had a live band on stage for the entire thing. And so there was one main bit of set that was either like a train station wall, but it also was like the wall of it was kind of funny. It was so Brechtian, and I love me a bit of Brecht.
I love Brecht.
But it was a train station wall, but it was also where they did all the scenes within the house. So one of the posters opened up and was the fridge. I'm like,
it's amazing.
And where they put all the stuff. It was great. And then the other thing was the guy who was playing the piano.
Yeah.
When you spun him round, he said reception, and he was the hospital reception.
Oh my god.
So he would stay there playing for the entire thing, and it was so good. And then when you spun the big bit round again, it was a bar, and it was so detailed. You know, there was random things up on the wall. There was all the like 25.
Yeah.
What am I trying to say?
Think 25.
That's what it is. Think 25. All those stuff all over the wall, and like badly laminated bits of paper explaining like all the rules, and it just looked really like a bar. And then when they kind of, because they played into all of that, you know, they had like chairs set out for the bar or randomly, and then when they were clearing that set, or they were striking that set to make the next set, it would be someone in a bartender's outfit clearing the bar down. And then when they were sorting out the hospital, when they were moving stuff, it was all people came on in scrubs and did it. It was just so well thought through. And yeah,
I'm all sad that I didn't see that.
and it was just really well done. And it was, do you know what? Everyone was really, really, really great actors. The only person who I kind of felt didn't do as well as the rest, and I'm not necessarily saying that she's a bad actress, I just think if you're falling even like a fraction behind other people on stage, it becomes very obvious.
Especially if it's an ensemble.
Mm-hmm. It was the girl who played the sister. I just felt like she was putting on the emotions rather than feeling them. Yeah. So, you know, now I need to be sad. Now I need to be angry. I don't think it wasn't bad acting. Definitely wasn't, but it just wasn't on the same level that everyone else was at. I'm not a crier at theatre, movies. Anything. Unless I'm on my own, I don't cry at things. I just don't. Yeah. I will feel sad. It's not that I don't feel the emotion, it's just that even if I'm sitting there and I've like got a lump in my throat and I like all I need to do is cry, my fucked up brain won't let me. But also I kind of sometimes find with musicals that I'll be feeling really, really sad, and then the song will come on, and if I know the song, it makes me feel something else, like whatever is associated with that song or whatever, which is the downside I think musicals have, is that quite often the song is meant to be sad, but you're like, oh, I love this song, and it just makes you happy instead. But when the mum sung Sunshine on Leith, I cried. Yeah. I mean, it was like a solitary manly tear.
But like, you still cried. That's a big deal.
And like, I was like, holy crap. Like, that, you know, kudos to you for actually managing to make water leak from my eyes. Yeah. But yeah, it was really, really good.
Oh, man. See, that reminds me of a musical that I went to go see that I love with all my heart, and that's Chicago. Yeah. Now, I'm not really a big fan of musicals, which is really funny because all I seem to go see is musicals.
Because her flatmate, Sophie, is obsessed.
Yes. They are like, but Chicago's just a genius piece of theatre performance, because even the fact that it's a musical makes sense to the plot and to what the thing is trying to say.
Yeah.
that's why I love it so much. And that there was a live band on stage there at all times, and it was like very minimal set, brechty as fuck, and the main entrance was right through the middle of the band, and it was like this cool build-up thing, and it was just brilliant. I love it so much. And when Razzle Dazzle came on, I nearly cried. I was like so excited. I was like, ooh, yes. And I'm pretty sure, like, and when I went to go see it, it was, if I am not mistaken, it was either just before or just after the US election.
So there was
President
Trump references?
There was like, no, there wasn't, but there basically was. Like, it was relatable again. That was like,
hurts.
Oh.
So the same thing, like, Sunshine on Leith is now 10 years old.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and that's not that old, but there was, watching that, it was like, ooh, they made it very political, which I'm totally down for.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, watching it like, okay, like, this is not even pretending, like, they're not even trying to, like, there's no thin veil, it's just like, they're being like, fuck the Tories.
Well, I mean, Cheviot Stag in the Black Oil.
Which, okay, no, if we're talking about things that make me very sad that they're still relevant, that was a play. Oh, I know so much about this, I wrote an essay on it. So, let me. So, it was written by a company called 784, which is talking about how 7% of the population in the UK own 84% of the wealth and land, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it was written in the 70s, talking about how Scotland, due to some mistakes that Scottish government have made as well, it's not like saying that that we're, like, I don't know, innocent in it, I guess, but it's saying how Scotland is totally taken advantage of time and time again throughout history. And they did a reinvigoration of it, where they replaced one of the characters, who is the oil character, called Texas Jim. They just replaced him with Donald Trump. Like, they genuinely, he was just Donald Trump. It wasn't even like, oh, that could be Donald Trump. No, it was Donald Trump. Which was brilliant. But that came on in, 2016? Yeah. So about 50 years, 50-something years after it was originally done, and it was still 100% relevant, and that made me very sad. I walked out of that like, Scotland!
I walked in that performance with a slightly opposing view, because that was with the whole, like, Brexit.
It was before Brexit, but after the Scottish referendum.
Yes. And I walked in there with a completely opposing opinion to what the play was trying to tell me, and I left being like, I might be wrong. Which is very difficult to do, because I'm stubborn as fuck.
Yeah, no, I'm the same.
So I was like, also, that last fucking, was it like one of the last scenes, when the wall went up behind the Mexican, like, ridiculously, like, caricatured Mexican person, and the wall was just building behind him, and I was like, oh!
Like, it was not a subtle play.
No, he had maracas and everything. Like, I laughed so hard.
Yeah.
Because it was supposed to be funny. That's the whole thing. They made it funny so that the audience could connect with it more.
Yeah. I think this is the thing, like, people are way more likely to listen to a message that is funny than a message that is just serious. I think. I've not done studies, so I cannot prove this, but yeah. So, like, it started off with the Highland clearances. Like, Cheviot is one of my favorite plays that I think I've ever seen in my life. Like,
it is brilliant.
It was so good. It started off with the stuff about the Highland clearances and how because the English, and they still do, own a lot of Scotland's land, and they were like, oh, look, we're not making much money off people because we're charging such ridiculous rent rates that a lot of them aren't really paying us the full price, but we can make a lot of money off of sheep, so we're just going to tell everyone that they don't have a home anymore and replace them with sheep, which is the Cheviot sheep. Oh my god, the title has a meaning, what? And yeah, so it's all about how they all went to, like, America or Ireland or anywhere, because the Highlands basically got cleared. Oh my god, what? And then the next bit is talking about, it was mainly talking about kind of Victorian times, but it's something that is still very, very prevalent today, I guess, is about stag hunting. And that's, again, because the English own a lot of our land, what they do is they will rent out the land to, like, a groundskeeper who will keep an eye on all the land, and, like, they get paid for it. but, you know, it's not their land at the end of the day. And then they'll be like, oh, let's go up and shoot some stag for a weekend. And that's the only thing they do with that land, and how, yeah, you know, there's so much of Scotland's land that is not owned by Scotland that it's actually ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the last bit is talking about oil and how Scotland, again, this is where Scotland was naive in its decision, but it was still someone taking advantage of us, is that when we discovered we had oil, and we didn't really know how to go about making the most of it, we got, like, in touch with America, and we're like, hey, you guys have oil, and you guys are making money off of it, so can you come help us? And they went, yeah, sure. What we'll do is, we'll technically buy it off you, and we'll drill it all, and then we'll sell it back to you. Just, what they didn't explain was that they were going to sell it back at, like, 4 times the price or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we then sell it on again, because we don't need as much oil as we have in the North Sea. But it's why, so Scotland could have actually had a lot, like, you know, Scotland should have been ridiculously rich from the oil, like, ridiculously rich. We have a lot of oil. We don't so much anymore, but we had a lot of oil. Yeah, but I think, for me, the moment that really stands out from that whole play is the moment where they talked about how in 1999, right before the millennia, and there was a reason why they had to do it then.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was some powers were getting, Scotland was getting more devolution, which is basically where we get more powers. You know, so we're not fully in control of our country, but we are more in control than if England, like Westminster, was in control of everything. That's why we have the Scottish Parliament. They are able to make some decisions about Scotland. It's why we have free tuition and England doesn't, sort of thing. But before the change of the millennia, 2000, more powers are going to come to us. So the English government, or it is the UK government, but it's the English government.
Yeah.
Made the decision to change a coastline. So, I'm pretty sure I maybe have talked about this before. I think I talked about the English moving the coastline. But, like, that moment in that play where they told us, that was the moment where I was like, I made the right decision in voting yes. Yeah. I know that it didn't happen, but I made the right decision.
Yeah, you were, like, content with yourself.
And I just walked out of there so angry for many reasons, but also one of them was like, why did you wait until after the referendum to take this round? This is an example of where theatre could have changed a lot of things, because there was a lot of scaremongering and a lot of misinformation and a lot of propaganda flying about. And as much as that falls into propaganda, that piece of information about that coastline, it's true, and that's important that people are aware, because it's a prime example of how Westminster treats Scotland.
Yes.
And that's what it is. And also, the fact that they have the power to do that.
It's crazy.
That, like, and that we couldn't fight against that. Because there's not enough MPs. Like, there's 50-something MPs in Scotland, and then, like, 200 and something from UK, and then, or England and Wales, and then the rest, all of that makes up the, like, 300 and something we have. But that means that if the whole of Scotland wanted something, the rest of the UK could outvote us.
Welcome to Brexit 101.
I mean, yeah.
That was only England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally.
But hey, this makes me
angry.
Many anger. But anyway, let's not make me angry, and let's talk about another bit of theatre. Do we have... We have time.
We have time.
Oh, should we talk about... Okay, I know what I want to talk about. Because this was a very iconic moment for me as well, and I believe an iconic moment for Polina. And
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Potentially, Orpheus.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh my god, that thing was so fucking good.
And do you know what? I think what made me so happy with it was that I walked into that, because we had a workshop with the guys who were running it before.
I was a mess.
And I heard about this, being like, I didn't have the same experience a lot of people had in that workshop, and I think it was because I did that workshop. If I did that workshop now, I'd have a very different experience.
Yeah.
I think I wasn't quite at the place where I was able to, like, get the most from that workshop.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we did a workshop, and I saw the two of them, and I knew the story of Orpheus, and I assumed it was going to be about that, and I was like, there is a man and a woman involved in Orpheus, and I know the tale, the Greek tale, and I looked and I was like, these are two guys, and maybe they're going to do something subversive with it, but also, like, I feel like that's not enough people, so that must not be all the actors. There must be more actors somewhere. Because I think what I was expecting was your stereotypical, like, proscenium arch, end-on performance where everything was super realistic and there was lots of costume. And when we walked in, after paying, what was it, like, £6?
Yeah.
I would have paid, like, triple that.
Yeah.
But walk in and we just see, like, school chairs, basically. Like,
yeah.
Or, like, they look like school chairs. Set up in, like, 2 row, like, so it's called traverse, where the stage is kind of like a strip in the middle, and then you've got chairs facing it on either side, kind of like a catwalk.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I realized that there was no staging, there was no costume, there was these two guys in their normal clothes, one was holding a book and one was holding a guitar. My brain just went, oh no. Because we'd also just gone and seen a performance at Eden Court called The End.
That was...
Which...
That's
caused
a meme.
Yeah, it's actually a meme in our class.
It is.
There was maybe like 3 people who walked out of that like, that was amazing, and the rest of us were like, that was an hour of my life gone.
I think it was like more than an hour.
It was an hour.
Like
it was one of those things that like I maybe could have got something from it if it was 20 minutes.
Yes. It did not. Yeah. No. I'm not into that.
But yes, the end. We all had seen that, and we had such high hopes for that, and then that was crap. And then we walked into this, and you could feel the energy of the room of people being like, oh god, is this going to be another end where we've just paid some more money to go see something that is also really awful? But oh my god. And I think it made me realize how important or how exciting storytelling can be.
Yeah.
Because it was just this guy telling a story, and then another guy playing a guitar, and he played Bruce Springsteen, and he made it sad. And
yeah, like how do you,
like
I have tears in my eyes just thinking about it.
You know the song "Can't Start the Fire," so it's like "Can't start the fire," and then it's like
without a spark.
Yeah. They did an acoustic version of that. That holy moly!
It's when those motherfuckers made us
sing along to
it in the end, because they used that song throughout. That was like the one consistent song.
It was like
that
the song
like,
about their relationship. Yeah,
and they made us sing it with them at the end, because it was like all like with a bar full of people and stuff like that. And I was such a fucking mess.
I think I was across from Polina, so every now and then I look over and just see that, like, you know when someone has been crying and like the light reflects off their face because it's all shiny? That was just her whole face.
It was my whole face. I was like...
And like her neck and her...
Oh yeah, like I had to like get my whatever I was wearing, like my top, and like cover my mouth so I didn't sob during the performance. It was so good, but I will never be okay after that.
It was just... I think, like, I knew the story, so... Spoilers, if you don't know this ancient Greek myth. But the story of Orpheus is, Orpheus meets this woman, and I can't remember her name, and that's going to bug me, but he meets this woman, and they fall in love, and they're really, really, really in love, and then she dies, and he's really heartbroken about it, and he's like a lute player or something like that. That is important to the story, and he decides that he's going to go speak to Hades, and tell Hades, please give me my wife back. I believe that like the way that he manages to convince Hades is he either plays the lute or he says he'll never play it again or something. Like there's something to do with the lute or his whatever instrument he played. But Hades agrees and says, you can take your wife back, she's over there. But the rule is that you cannot look at all.
Yeah, you can't look back. You have to walk straight out of Hades.
Yeah, you can only turn around and look at her once you are both out of the underworld. So the idea was, it was a test of faith that like, because she won't speak either.
Yeah.
You can't speak to her. You can't do anything. So he's like, okay, yeah, that's easy. And they walk and all the way through all of the underworld, and it's right as they're like climbing out that she stumbles, and he turns around to help her, but she's not out of the underworld, and he is, and she's not.
Yeah. And
that's it. She goes back to Hades, and
yeah,
that's it. It's really sad because it depends what version you get. Some versions like he was well out.
Yeah.
So he looks back thinking like, of course she's out too, and then there's other ones where he's like he's not even quite out yet. He's like got a hand out and he hears us. But the idea, like, because what's really sad for me is it's not that he doesn't believe, it's that he hears her stumble and he's like, oh, like,
is she okay?
Though actually I have heard a version of it where he does just like, he just can't anymore and he does just look back right before he leaves.
I don't like that. I like that. Yeah, no, it was just such a heartbreaking tale. I love it.
But yeah, so I was watching it getting really invested in their relationship, knowing she was going to die. Like, I knew that had to be certain. But I was like...
I fucking didn't.
Oh, yeah. I was like, please just, like, change the ending. Like, make sure she gets out of the underworld, and she didn't. And that was like, oh.
And the fucking thing that they added to it as well was, like, that Orpheus, he was just this guy. He didn't get on with girls, and, like... It was his birthday, so his friends dragged him out to the pub, like, because it was like a modern take on the tale. And he was just like having none of it really. And they made him go and sing karaoke. And it was Color Me No? Yes? No, it wasn't. It was Can't Start a Fire.
Mm-hmm.
And he was colorblind, so like, so everything was like black and white. It wasn't like green, blue. Or whatever it is.
Yeah, like your stereotypical, like, there's no
Green,
colour
red.
in the world.
Yeah. Nothing. And then, all of a sudden, colour starts flooding into his world because he sees the girl. And I was like, no. Everything was so colourful. And, yeah, so then when she went and fucking died, everything went to black and white again, and that just broke me again.
Yeah.
And that's why that song, Colour Me In, I was like, no.
Well, I think it was an original song.
I think so.
Yeah. Because it was was all just acoustic guitar, and it was like, not okay.
No.
But yeah, I think it was just really lovely. Like, I know it's such a cliche of, like, the soulmate trope of, like...
Fuck it, I still believe in soulmates.
Of, like, or, you know, there's so many that exist in, like, the world, and that's one of them. Yeah. And then, you know, but that whole concept of, you know, your soulmate makes colour come into the world, and then when they die, colour leaves, is really awful, because when you think about it, what if, like, you were just walking around one day, and your colour just left?
No,
you weren't even with them, like, it just went.
No. Just no.
It's so sad.
It is so sad.
So sad.
Like,
but didn't she died of an illness, didn't she?
Yeah.
So, like, he knew she was dying?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and was it not something about how he didn't really dance either?
Yeah.
But he did, I can't remember what it was, but there was something about them dancing together as well, but it was just so cute. Yeah. But it was just like, everyone could so vividly see what was going on, and it was just this guy reading something out from a book.
They painted such a picture, like...
And I was like, I think walking at that, I was like, that has opened my eyes about theatre, because
Yeah, that was a great one of the first performances to go see.
Yeah, on a course, it was like, oh damn. Oh damn.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
On that note, should we move on to a potentially sad news story?
Yes, let's do it. I checked last night and it was something about Theresa May, so I'm already angry. Like, do you want to do the honors? Who did it last time?
I can't even remember.
Yeah. Right, you know how this works, right?
That way.
Yeah.
Don't be shy. Oh
God. Yes.
Oh. Aid sector, almost complicit, in commas, in sex scandal, says MPs.
Oh.
The aid sector is guilty of complacency verging on complicity over an endemic sex abuse scandal, a damning report from MPs has said. The charities were more concerned to protect their own reputation rather than victims. In February, the Times revealed senior staff at Oxfam had paid survivors of the 2010 earthquake in Haiti for sex.
That was like a thing.
Charities welcomed the report, and Oxfam said it had further to go. So, like, the charities are saying...
Oh, go ahead, and we will...
Yes. The MP's report said so much more could have been done to tackle the open secret of people working in the aid sector committing such acts. But despite the charities knowing about the problem, the committee said there had been a collective failure of leadership and action only when there was a crisis. And the committee suggested ways of them to, like, fix this. Ensuring the beneficiaries of humanitarian aid have knowledge and confidence in their rights. Reports of sexual exploitation and abuse should be proactively sought and responded to robustly with feedback to victims and survivors. A zero-tolerance culture on sexual exploitation and abuse is the least that victims should expect. Known perpetrators of sexual exploitation and abuse should be identified through improved reporting and accountability, prevented from moving into new positions.
Fucking right.
So it's basically, yeah, it's like, this is another one of how a young boy in Haiti described the rape of a girl by an NGO worker. And then he gave her $1 American, and the little girl was happy to see the money. It was 2 a.m. The man took her and raped her. In the morning, the little girl could not walk. So it's just...
I fucking hate people.
I'm not going to keep reading this, to be honest.
It's just going to get worse. And, yeah. No, I remember that, like, when that whole thing came to light.
Do you know what? It's one of those things... Do you ever have news stories break, and you didn't know...
Mm-hmm.
But, like, deep down, you were like, yeah, I guess that makes sense. And, like,
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I'm,
like, horrified, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. No, that's fucking gross.
Yeah. It's the same thing, almost, like, with the thing when it came out about the church, about how there was all those Catholic ministers that were taking advantage of people. Yeah. It's, you know... people in power do. And
somehow we managed to go full circle to my poetry book, by the way.
Yes.
That tackles that as well.
But it's one of those things, and I just, do you know what? I genuinely don't understand.
No.
I just don't.
You know what I don't understand? Again, inspired by this fucking book, right? We get all of these reports and all of that. But where are the victim statements? Like, I want to hear from them as well. Of course, if it's too traumatic and they don't want to talk about it, I completely understand. But we should be working our fucking asses off to provide a safe platform for them to talk about the fucking shit that they've, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, for that to be available to the public. Because, like, if someone reads this, they're like, oh, yeah, but not everyone's putting that out there. But there'll be, like, for example, some people who are like... oh, yeah, but maybe, like, she was fine with it. And, like, you know, they paid her that, like, maybe it wasn't for that. And,
yeah,
like,
she was happy to see the money. Yeah.
And it's like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think, for me, it's also... and this is maybe slightly controversial, and it's, like, not quite on the line with this, but it's, like, a similar thing of, like, all these scandals coming out. I know that they don't reveal the victim's name, and I 110% agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also think that they should not reveal the perpetrator's name until they are found guilty.
Yeah.
Because I think what becomes the problem, and it is a tiny percentage that it happens to. I'm not saying that it's a lot, but there are cases where there are false accusations.
Yes, no, there are.
And even just the association of this person was accused makes you start to think things about them.
Yeah.
And then you're thinking all these things, and then sometimes even when it comes out that it was a false claim or that they're not guilty, part of you thinks that they are.
Yeah.
And how horrible would that be if you were the person who had the false claim made against and knowing that there's people out there who think that you did it?
Yeah. No, that is horrible. But see, that's where I'm on, like, it's just, humans aren't fucking decent enough to tell the truth or, like, to admit to wrongdoings. That's why this is a problem in the first place. But, like, the whole, like, to prove rape, there's, like, yeah. So imagine being the person who finally got the courage to go and talk to somebody about what happened. And then those people being like, but we can't prove it. And it's like, oh, okay, so that whole bullshit of, you know, speak up for yourself and, like, do your thing and, like, be empowered, that was all like a lie and useless. Great. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, it's just, like, I'm, like, of two brains about it. Yeah. Because on, like, a scientific point of view, I do, or, like, a logistical point of view, I understand. Because they can't just go, oh, you said it happened? Okay, cool, it happened.
Yeah.
I do understand why they have to find ways to back that up, because it does become a he said, she said, or
that's all it will be, unless it was like very recent and they can like do their horrible things.
Actually, this is a little bit of a sidetrack, but it's along the same sort of lines of where someone I know thinks that they got spiked.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until the morning that they woke up and were like, that wasn't right, I didn't have that much to drink.
I've had a night like that as well, yeah.
And then they went to the hospital and they were like, oh, it's been too long since you were out, so there's no point, we can't take you for drugs. Mm-hmm. But they were quite rude about it to her.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like judgy almost, which isn't right, but and you know, she was really hurt because she was like, I got kind of, it was kind of scary coming here.
Oh yeah.
To find out if I was, and I, was spiked or not, and I feel quite shaky, and then having someone be like that, and it does suck but they probably were right in that there's no point because there'll be nothing traceable left in your system.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just really sad. And you know what also gets me was that you had this conversation with? No, it wasn't. It was Laura. She was reading up about, like, rape. That sounds really bizarre, but, like, for a thing that she's doing. And I'm pretty sure, like, the definition of rape is, like...
Yeah.
Was, like, the penetration of a penis...
Yeah.
...into the body. I don't think it has to be vagina. Like, it can be somewhere else, but it has to be a penis, and it has to be, like, penetration.
Yeah.
So, technically... a female can't rape a man.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. Cause
a female can't rape a female.
And a female can't rape a female.
And it means that if someone was to shove
anything
else that was not a penis into you,
that's
not rape. It's just sexual assault. And like,
yeah. And it doesn't get taken as seriously as rape. Like, it doesn't.
Because sexual assault is like such a big spectrum.
Yeah. Yes. It's so like... broad.
And I do understand that because they have to be so specific with these things. It's like, well, the reason that rape is that is because sex is the insertion of a penis into a body part. I don't know. But yeah, so the rape has to reflect that. It just has to be like unwilling, blah, blah, blah. Which means because that's what sex is, it also means that let's say you're both 16, or you're not quite both. So in Scotland, you have to be 16 to legally have sex.
Yes.
This is something also Laura was discovered, is that under 13, you cannot consent. So if you are 13 having sex with a 12-year-old, the 13-year-old legally can consent, but legally cannot have sex. So are breaking the law by having sex.
Yes.
But the 12-year-old cannot consent, which means that not only is it illegal, it is rape.
Also, 12 and 13-year-olds should not be having sex.
Yes.
Stop.
Yes.
But that's a different kettle of fish.
So let's talk about 16 and just the legality of it. Unless you can prove that you were dating previously, no, that's something else. Never mind. Ignore me. I will come on to that.
Yeah.
If I was dating a boy who was younger than me, so if I just turned 16 and I was legally able to have sex, and he was 15 and he was not legally able to have sex, and I had sex with him, it's not the same. Like, technically he's the one to blame because sex is his penis entering me.
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
So, if it was the 12 and 13-year-old, for example, if the girl was older,
it's so stupid.
It's so stupid because technically she would be raping him, but she can't rape him, so she technically isn't raping him.
Yeah, and this is why feminism is important, because it's equality. So women should be held accountable exactly as the same way that men are.
Yeah, and it's so stupid that. Whereas if it's the other way around, and it can be people can both be just as happy to do it, but
but it would only be the man, since he has the penis.
That would kind of and it's so stupid, and it's also this is why it's really hard for male victims to come forward and be like, I was raped, because legally they weren't,
unless it was with another man's penis. Like, it's disgusting that it is disgusting that women aren't being held accountable for things like that to the extent that they should be.
also talking about being held accountable, something that me and Laura are also talking about was women, actually no, that's unfair to say women, anyone should be prosecuted severely for false rape claims.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That currently is not a thing that happens.
No. It just goes away into nothingness, which is fucking ridiculous, because a false claim can ruin the other person's life.
But the reason why is because what you have to do is you then have to turn around and sue them. Because, so the way that the justice system works, when someone is making a claim like, you did a thing to me, you were violent to me, you sexually assaulted me, you raped me, whatever the claim is, it's now your turn to prove you're innocent. So that's what the court case is you either proving whether or not you're guilty or innocent of that crime.
Yes.
If I turn out to be lying, that has nothing to do with whether or not you're guilty or innocent of your crime.
Yeah.
Afterwards, you have to sue me for slander.
And that can only be slander. That's fucking...
As far as I was aware, I'm obviously not a lawyer.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, you have to turn around and sue me. So not only is it then more time in court, more money, all of these things, it's a separate case.
That's fucking ridiculous. And also, I can imagine...
It's really hard to get files of the other case.
Well, yeah, get files of the other case. And especially in a female wrongly accusing, or like anyone wrongly accusing the other person, that person who is accused already has a bad rep.
Yeah.
So that might sway things.
Also, public opinion... So let's say it was someone famous.
Yeah.
Public opinion might be that, oh, they're turning around and suing her now. What an awful human being.
Yeah.
Or it might be like, oh, that makes me feel like he is telling the truth because obviously he's so angry he's turning, but
yeah,
you're already on shaky ground with your reputation, and like things like this can stop you from working anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I say can because let's not lie to ourselves. Chris Brown beat up Rihanna and is now still making millions of pounds. And when Kristen Stewart had her affair with the director, she got fired from working on films with him, and her career went into the drain for a little bit. But his was completely unaffected. Yeah. So let's not lie. Maybe if that did happen, your career would be fine. But like, it might not be.
Exactly.
And so suing someone to be like, you could have ruined my career would be totally understandable. But also, because you don't know how people are going to take that, it might ruin your career trying to sue them for ruining your career. Like, yeah.
It's a hot mess. But it's important. This was a very important chat that needs to happen more often, I think. Like, maybe not just with us, but like people fucking talk about things like this.
And I think the problem is that people don't talk about these things is because people are so invested that people get really passionate and they get really loud, and other people take that as them being angry, and then everyone falls out.
Yes.
And I it's actually something, so me and another classmate had a talk about something like this, and he said something that I was like sitting there and my insides just like not themselves, and I was like, I so disagree. But I just took a breath and I was like, I would just like to say that I completely disagree with what you have just said, but it is your opinion. My opinion is this. And he was like, thank you for being so calm about it.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, actually. And having a calm conversation was how I convinced someone that feminism also fights for men. And he had his mind blown. And because he was one of those people who was like, feminism equals feminazis.
Yes.
They're different things. But like,
different things.
He was talking about that. And you would see it all over his Facebook, and then one day I said that to him, and the next day on his Facebook there was something he shared that he was like, this is what feminism is fighting for, and I was like, yes!
I know who you're talking about now, yeah. That was a really nice moment. Like, yeah, feminism is important because it's all about equality.
For men and women.
Yes, men and women. It's not like for women to be superior and for men to be like slated. No, it's just equality among sexes.
Mm-hmm.
For everything, not just the good things.
Yes.
Which is super important because people forget that.
Yes. Yes to all.
Yeah.
Let's end on that. That's a very empowering note.
Yeah. Fucking right.
Feminism. Equality for all.
Yes. Do you have a question?
Oh. What? Do we talk about theatre or feminism as our question?
I don't mind. You know what, theatre? Actually, no, fuck it. If we're going to end on an important note, let's talk about feminism.
Okay, my question for you is then, what is your opinion on feminism?
Yes, all opinions are welcome. please put them nicely so people don't
Yes.
get offended.
Yes.
Whatever your opinion may be.
Please remember, everyone has opinions, and they may
That's
anger
fine.
you, but
But that's
don't
their
be
human right.
rude about it.
Yeah. Fuck
Safe
it.
chats, guys.